Coming up tonight, for the benefit of all, Cabinet approving the formation of a National Trade Facilitation Committee. We'll tell you what to expect. Plus, an economist and a former parliamentarian weighs in on the future of Bahamas Power and Light. And later, the world's largest swim lesson making major waves over at Bahamas. We'll tell you about the important message behind the fun event. These stories and so much more as Our News Weekend starts now. This is Our News Weekend. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Megan Shepard. Prime Minister Philip Davis to chair the recently approved National Trade Facilitation Committee. The main goals, according to committee member Barry Griffin, are to drive down the cost of doing business in the Bahamas, as well as lower the cost of goods. Griffin says one initiative is to clean up Potter's Key Dock.
You'll see initiatives to organize the port. We're going to be introducing new competition policy to encourage competition within markets. We're also going to be introducing a new single window trade system, custom system, through which it would make the customs process a little bit more efficient. So all of these initiatives tied together, the intent is that when goods come to the country, it will be a lot cheaper.
Griffin, who is also deputy chairman of the Bahamas Trade Commission, says the committee follows international best practices relating to trade facilitation that makes trading easier, more efficient, and most importantly, more cost-effective. The newly formed committee, approved by Cabinet, consists of both Cabinet members and local stakeholders. Griffin says it will benefit all industries in the Bahamas.
So whether you're bringing in food products, whether you're an individual or a business bringing in food products, construction materials, building supplies, furnitures, houseware, whether you're working for a development or you're doing a small project, it's intended to lower the cost of all goods because the cost of trade generally will be lower. However, in conjunction with initiatives from the Bahamas Trade Commission, we intend to bring down the cost specifically on household items and the most frequently used goods by the average Bahamian person.
Meantime, the communications director in the Office of the Prime Minister clearing up some misconceptions surrounding government's allocation of $2.5 million for an aircraft. The aircraft in question will be for the transport of government officials throughout the Family Islands. But after receiving backlash from the public, Latrell Ramming sought to bring clarity. He says the substantial budget will be for the repurposing of the aircraft that was confiscated by the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
This decision was made to optimize resources and enhance the efficiency of government operations across our archipelago. The government of the Bahamas, along with senior officials and technocrats, are required to travel frequently to the various Family Islands, including those that do not have regular commercial flights. This ensures that government services are accessible to all residents, regardless of their location, within our extensive archipelago. This approach represents a cost-saving measure, significantly reducing the monthly expenses incurred by the government.
Ramming says the aircraft will alleviate any delays and added expenses on the public's purse. As for who will maintain the aircraft, the OPM Communications Director said this.
For a nation like the Bahamas, with a population spread across numerous islands, air travel remains the most effective and efficient means of transportation. As a growing independent country, the central government must adopt creative solutions to bridge logistical challenges. One such solution is repurposing seized assets and making them safely usable. The Royal Bahamas Police Force will maintain, operate, and utilize this aircraft, ensuring its safety and reliability for government.
Well, economist Shivago Lang giving his take on government's plan to save Bahamas Power and Light. The Prime Minister, in his 2024-2025 budget communication, outlined government's plan to reform energy in the Bahamas, including utility-scale solar power for the Family Islands and an expansion of solar projects in New Providence. Lang says it appears as if BPL may be heading in a certain direction.
It looks to me like a privatization exercise from what I could tell. There's a fair amount of outsourcing to private sector of some significant components of BPL, the power generation, the power distribution, the power transmission. And so that to me in real ways looks like a privatization exercise. And so whether or not it will accomplish the ends that the government outlines, well, that's something to be seen, and you can try and anticipate better once you have more details, and that those details have not been forthcoming so far.
Now, the Prime Minister has denied allegations by the opposition that Bahamas Power and Light is being privatized, telling Parliament, "We have sold nothing." Lang says this.
Well, I think if by selling he means there's not an exchange of shares in the ownership of BPL with a private entity, then I mean there's no reason to disbelieve the Prime Minister. But that's not the only way to privatize an enterprise. You can privatize an enterprise in the way they're doing, where you outsource a fair amount of its productive capacity to the private sector. Anytime you invite the private sector to have a substantial control over some aspect of a public enterprise, you are engaged in a privatization exercise.
In just over 1 week, national insurance contributions are expected to increase by 1.5%. This is something that is not sitting well with leader of the Coalition of Independents, Lincoln Bain. In fact, he says it's a travesty and deception.
The government used our money to build buildings, Attorney General's building, Ministry of Education, clinics, a lot of buildings that we're not really getting anything from. And so this is why they have assets, but they can't, those assets are not liquid. They also invested in certain companies. They invested in companies that seem to be the interests of cronies. They invested in Focal, for example. They invested in their biggest investment in NIB in their last reporting was the Commonwealth Brewery. How is it that the company that deals with health, biggest investment is in liquor? Wow. How could that be? And you're wondering why NIB is broke?
Bain also weighing in on government's plans to increase the pension age from 65 to 67. He says that's unthinkable.
When I started working, they told me it was 60. Then they moved it to 65. And they justified that because they said you could still do it at 60, but you only get this amount, and at 65 you get that amount. Now it's raising to 67, and I think it's happening because Bahamas didn't say anything when they rose it to 65. But we feel that that is fraudulent. Yes. We feel that that is out of order. We feel that we made a deal with the government that we would pay our monies or get arrested. We would pay our monies, and at the age of 60 or 65, we would collect our monies.
When our news comes back from the break, celebrating Caribbean unity, John Watlin's distillery to represent the Bahamas at CARICOM's 50th Rum Initiative. Plus, raising awareness and gaining empathy. Cable Bahamas employees participate in a blindfold challenge, a part of Disability Empowerment Month. We'll tell you all about it right after this quick break.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell joined representatives of John Watlin's distillery for the launch of the CARICOM 50th Rum Blends Initiative. The initiative commemorates 5 decades of Caribbean unity and collaboration by promoting a series of especially crafted rum blends from various member states. To mark this occasion, John Watlin's distillery is representing the Bahamas, along with 13 other Caribbean rum producers from the West Indies Rum and Spirits Producers Association. Making the handover was distillery's co-founder.
Our rum, John Watling's Paradise, is a 4- and 6-year-old blend, aged in these bourbon barrels and finished in sherry casks. This brand was originally conceived for Atlantis Paradise Island Hotel and Casino, and its label, in addition to CARICOM's 50th anniversary logo, proudly displays Paradise Island Lighthouse and the Bahamian flag. Next month, this initiative will culminate in a grand presentation to the heads of government in Grenada, which will celebrate the diversity and excellence of Caribbean rum and our rich heritage.
The initiative highlights the rich cultural and historical ties that bind the Caribbean nations, showcasing the region's renowned rum-making traditions. The rum will be presented to Caribbean leaders at the upcoming CARICOM meeting in Grenada, an opportunity Mitchell says he's grateful for.
I've always been at a disadvantage when I went to Guyana or Grenada or the Dominican Republic. They were all boasting about what is the best rum in the West Indies. And I didn't have, until you came along, I didn't have a brand to throw back in their faces. And now our Prime Minister, when he goes down to Grenada, will have a neatly packaged, right here, it says, this is the finest in the West Indies, without question. It is a Bahamian rum, enjoys a good reputation, and so we support the product.
Well, two employees from the Cable Bahamas group of companies volunteering to take part in the Blind Challenge as a part of a Disability Empowerment Month seminar. The challenge aims to help those with sight emphasize with the experiences of the blind and visually impaired by blindfolding them and teaching them new ways to navigate their surroundings. Senior Alive partner Sharon Saunders and IT application support specialist Amanda Moxie say they feel the experience will have a lasting impact.
For me, I'm a type of person who my mind goes 1,000 miles per hour. And this forced me to really slow down and stop. And I heard everything around the room. I could hear Jermaine and Amanda in the back laughing and giggling. I can hear, people in the back talking. It just really forced me to pay more attention. I thought it was a very interesting experience, and I'll take this with me, for the rest of my life. So thank you guys.
There's no way to understand like experiencing. And now that I know, I think it will teach me to be a bit more patient or to just be more grateful for what I have and to be mindful of others that don't have it and pay attention to the ways that I can assist.
President of the Bahamas Alliance for the Blind and Visually Impaired, Jermaine Brown, says these kinds of challenges can help educate the public on the experiences of the visually impaired. He has these tips for how you can help make your spaces more accessible for the blind.
If a blind person enters your establishment, we ask you to first, give us an idea, a brief summary of the areas, the restroom areas, how to get to and fro, and then try to make us feel a little comfortable, not by forcing us around, but by asking, first of all, how is it that I can help you, and may I help you in this way, and find out from that person their way of being accessorized in your facility.
Still to come on Our News Weekend, promoting water safety. Bahamas are taking part in a global initiative to host the world's largest swim lesson. But first,
we check out day 2 of the Swim Nationals, and a legendary track and field figure is retiring. We got all that coming up on our Sports Weekend.
No travel, no problem. Summer is here. Whether you're fighting to stay cool or heating up the fun, Our News Weekend is your guide to the ultimate staycation. We're talking all of the hidden gems right in our backyard, from the hottest bars and lounges to the coolest excursions and events in town. So stay cool, stay local, and stay tuned. Tune in every Saturday to make sure your summer staycation is an unforgettable sensation. Only on Our News Weekend.
welcome back. It's time now for the latest updates at the Swim Nationals and a look back on the career of a legendary track coach. Tej Adderley is here with our Sports Weekend.
Thanks, Megan. Good evening. Welcome to our Sports Weekend. I'm Tej Adderley. Swimming Nationals begin on Thursday with the official opening ceremonies happening last night. Our Sasha Lightburn was at the Betty Kelly Ketting Aquatic Center, and she has this report.
Mako Aquatics still maintains its lead on Day 3 of the 52nd Bahamas National Swimming Championships. At the end of Day 2, Mako had 1,429 points, along with 127 total medals. Mako head coach is Trevano McPhee.
This is a long process that we go through all year. You know, we prepare months for this. And the swimmers came out the gate the first day looking really strong. Besides the points lead, I think the medal count stands for itself. So it speaks for itself. Swimmers have broken a lot of records last night of relays. So just a good first day for Mako swimmers.
We also caught up with Blue Wave Swim Club head coach Dellen Brown, who shared how he keeps his team together for a 4-day meet.
We had a psychologist on the team. She spoke to the team. She tapped into their head. She gave them different techniques. Just to approach your races when they're behind the blocks, when you're on the blocks, when you're in the water. And the team, they have been using that kind of technique from that psychologist just to, just try to do something different.
Now officially opening the meet Friday evening was Bahamas Aquatics President Algernon Cargill.
We have already held 1 day of competition at these championships, and there have been many surprises in the pool. Multiple records are falling, and more will fall over the remaining days. This is indeed an example of hard work overcoming talent.
Nationals will close out tomorrow with the closing ceremony set to begin at 5 p.m. Reporting for our sports, I'm Sasha Lightbourne. Back to you, Tage.
Thanks, Sasha. Now we're going to head over to the track where a legendary figure is calling it an end to his career. Purdue head track and field and cross-country coach Norbert Elliott is hanging up his stopwatch after over 3 decades. Elliott competed in the 1988 and 1992 Olympics in the triple jump before accepting his first coaching job at his alma mater, the University of Texas at El Paso. He would make stops at the University of Georgia, Murray State, and Campbell University before landing at Purdue as an assistant in 2012. In 2015, he was named associate head coach, and in 2018, he would take over from another Bahamian, Lonnie Green. During his time at Purdue, he coached countless Big Ten champions, including Bahamians Devin Charlton, Kamisha Cox, and Miami Dolphins Pro Bowl running back Raheem Mostert, who was actually the first sprinter he mentored. Now, Elliott also coached the Bahamas track and field squad at a number of meets during his coaching tenure, so happy trails go out to him. That's all for sports today. I'm Tage Adderley.
Thanks so much, Tage. Well, on the first day of summer under the hot Bahamian sun, the Atlantis and Bahamas resorts participated in the world's largest swimming lesson. Participants of all ages gathering to improve their swimming skills and promote a more poignant message of global water safety. The World Water Park Association has held the event for the past 15 years. And this year, General Manager of Bahamas shared its success, emphasizing its goal of making a big splash in water safety awareness. Italia Hall reports.
Well, being in an island nation, it's super important that everyone learns how to swim, whether it's children or adults. We know that worldwide, drowning is the leading cause of death amongst children 1 to 14 years old. And so the more that we can impart on our Bahamian residents and guests alike that swimming is important and get people into swimming lessons as soon as we can. It's never too late to start those lessons.
The event held at Bahamas Baja Bay Water Park saw children and teenagers alike don their swimsuits and dive into a day of learning and fun. The initiative, a part of a worldwide campaign to promote water safety and enhance swimming skills. Certified instructors provided expert guidance. One of them, 3-time Bahamian swimming Olympian, Jeremy Knowles.
The younger you can start, the better to build that confidence and competency in the water. And of course, in the Bahamas, our beautiful country surrounded by beautiful water, we want our citizens to be able to enjoy those features that God has provided for us. So this is such an important step for them to be familiar with that.
The historic event comes on the heels of a tragic incident where a 13-year-old boy drowned while swimming with his family on Monday. In light of this, the importance of the lesson was felt deeply by all. One parent expressed her gratitude for the opportunity.
Well, I think these type of swimming lessons are very important, especially for us being in the Bahamas surrounded by water. Realistically, all of our children should know how to swim. So I'm really appreciative to Let's Swim Bahamas for the free swimming lessons.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Italia Hall.
Thanks, Italia. Still to come, local students turned local authors. Our Joshua Williams has their inspirational story on the other side of this break. Stick with us.
No travel, no problem. Summer is here, whether you're fighting to stay cool or heating up the fun. Our News Weekend is your guide to the ultimate staycation. We're talking all of the hidden gems right in our backyard, from the hottest bars and lounges to the coolest excursions and events in town. So stay cool, stay local, and stay tuned. Tune in every Saturday to make sure your summer staycation is an unforgettable sensation. Only on Our News Weekend.
Welcome back. Yesterday, officially kicking off the summer season. Meteorologist Ian McKenzie joins us now with a look at your weekend temperatures. Ian.
Thanks, Megan, and good evening, Bahamas. Welcome to your Saturday evening forecast. We are currently outside our studios. We're under fair skies, temperature of 84. Winds are from the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. Comfortable feels like temperature of 76. Current temperatures across the country, we have a set of 83s in Freeport, Marsh Harbor, Great Albuquerque, Allenstown, Bimini, 84s in the capital and in Governor's Harbor, 85 in Nicholstown, Andros. In the Central Bahamas, continue with those 85s in Kemps Bay, 84 in Georgetown, Deadman's Key, Arthurstown, Kid Island, 86 in Coburn Town, San Salvador. In the southeast Bahamas, we have 84 in Duncantown as well as Delectable Bay, 83 in Colonel Hill, Abraham's Bay as well, 85 in Matthewtown and Providenciales, Turks and Caicos. Taking a look now at our satellite and radar imagery. More so satellite, we have high pressure across our area, a low pressure system just north of us. That's not much of a threat, only 0% by the Hurricane Center. They're also monitoring this area just east of Mexico. They're giving that about a 40% chance of possible development through early week. All areas boating forecast. Right now we're looking at winds east to southeast 10 to 15 knots. Seas running 2 to 4 but up to 5 feet offshore. High tide at 9:08 p.m. tonight. Low tide at 3:41 a.m. tomorrow morning. In your extended forecast, we expect some troughing across that area, and that should support some shower activity through about midweek. High temperatures getting up into the upper 80s, low 90s. Low temperatures hovering around to the upper 70s. That's a wrap in the evening forecast. Make it a great, safe, fun night, everyone.
A group of Doris Johnson Senior High students recently got a big surprise after putting pen to paper. Their work has been published in a book that's now on sale at a local bookstore. Our Joshua Williams has their heartwarming story.
It was a surprise 14 students from Doris Johnson Senior High School did not expect. Their stories from their imaginations printed in physical copies. Titled Love Vibes, the students let their imagination run wild by telling different stories of love. Subject coordinator for language arts, LaDawn Bars, says the idea came from a collaboration with Character Day Bahamas.
The students wrote, they did all the work, and myself, and with the help of Miss Beverly Turnquist from Through the Pages Bookstore, we edited the book, and now, just a short period, just 2 weeks, we have the published book here.
Their principal, Kent Lightbourne, says it's something he wants all of his students to be a part of.
Everyone could have made a little contribution to or a little poem to that. And so the way it is written, it's not just, like a one book story. It's actually a compilation of different poems. And I think everyone who has the desire to write can be a part of the next edition.
But that's not all. Publisher and co-owner of Through the Pages bookstore, Beverly Turnquist, had one more surprise for the students.
Through the Pages, the co-owner, Al Clark, and myself, we invite you as scholarship recipients to do an internship and publish your own book. Every one of you, all 14 of you, we have a shelf and we want your stories on it.
And for the students, they could not be more happy.
I'm just so excited that it's here. Like, writing it, sometimes writing can be, a little bit of a struggle because you have so much ideas. You don't know how to put it into words to put it into a good book. And definitely my teachers helped me with that. So I'm just excited this happened. I'm very happy to see it in person.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Congratulations to all of the authors, and thank you so much for that story, Josh. And thank you for joining us for Our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepherd. Have a safe and wonderful evening.